If you're using Jira Server or Confluence Server, then February 2024 is going to be a very, very important day for you because in February of 2024, Atlassian is officially ending the life of Jira Server and Confluence Server and the rest of their server products. And you're going to have to move to either the data center version or to the cloud. Now, if you want all the latest and greatest, all the bells and whistles that Atlassian is developing today, they're primarily going to the cloud first, and eventually they trickle their way down to data center. So if your company wants all the cool new things from Atlassian, then cloud is the only path. However, this presents an interesting problem for your backup and restoration solutions because when you move to the cloud, things don't work the same way. So in this video, we're going to talk about your options and give you a solution that I think is going to work really, really well for once you move to the cloud. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like if you get value out of this video. And don't forget to check out the links down below as you are definitely going to want to try out a free 30-day trial to rewind backups for Jira or Confluence.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move.
So February 2024, end of life is coming. There's no way around it. Atlassian has made it very, very official that starting February 2024, no more updates are going to be given to Jira Server or Confluence Server. And from a cybersecurity perspective, this is really, really bad because every week it seems that there's always some sort of vulnerability out there in the wild for Jira or Confluence Server, and you will not be able to patch those systems up anymore because Atlassian is not going to make those updates available. So your options are move to the data center or move to the cloud. And I have a funny feeling that most people are going to be wanting to move to the cloud. Now, when you move to the cloud, there's one critical aspect that you completely lose. Today, in your server versions, you have three really powerful things that you can do. Number one, you have full control of your backups. You can back up Jira Server, Confluence Server, or any of the other Atlassian products that you own in your server version. You can also back up the databases, and you can even back up the entire image of the machine in the server that hosts your Atlassian products. But when you move to the cloud, that's not possible anymore. Number two, if you accidentally delete something in server, well, it's really easy to go to a backup and bring that item back and then pretend it never happened. Again, when you move to the cloud, you don't have that luxury anymore. And finally, your data. Today in server, you know exactly where your data is at all times because you might be able to kick the server in which Jira is installed in. But in the cloud, you can't touch that data anymore, and you don't really have any authority or knowledge of where your data is at. It's just somewhere in Atlassian's cloud. And so today I'm going to show you a solution from my good friends over at Rewind. And they make a couple of cool products, Rewind Backups for Jira and Rewind Backups for Confluence. And I'm going to show you how both of these tools are going to make your lives a lot easier when you move to the cloud. So let me tell you a little bit about Rewind. They have a unified solution that allows you to back up all your different apps that your company may be using. Obviously, they have Jira and Confluence, which is what we're talking about in this video, but they also handle Trello, Bitbucket, and GitHub. In fact, this is a list of everything that they offer, and as you can see, there's early access to a couple of different products, but there is a good amount of products here that are already supported with many, many more coming soon. When you sign up for Rewind Backups, you get a unified vault. This vault here allows you to take a look at your backups for Confluence, and if you click over here in the top right corner, you can also go into your Jira. So I only have Jira and Confluence, but if you have any of the other products that I just mentioned, then you're gonna be able to click on this drop down here and be able to change into those accounts and be able to see your Bitbucket or your Trello or whatever else is supported. With Rewind Backups for Jira, you get this beautiful and intuitive interface that gives you a holistic view of everything that is being backed up. You're able to restore specific items, and you can even see different versions of those different backups that you've had over time. As I mentioned before, from this single vault, you can see all of Jira, or with a simple click, I can come over to Confluence and take a look at all the backups that I have for Confluence. And one of my favorite features about Rewind Backups for Jira Cloud is that with a single button, all I have to do is click on this backup now, it will automatically go and start backing up everything. Now, backups are on a schedule, so they will back up nightly or at on demand at any point. And it's really, really easy, really, really intuitive, and just a simple click. And when disaster strikes, we have the ability to restore items. As I mentioned before, we can simply restore a single item, or we can go over to the advanced restore and be able to restore the entire site. So I can pick a date, go back in time, and as I mentioned, these backups are happening autonomously nightly, or you can trigger an on-demand backup. So you just pick the backup date and time and you hit restore items, and the entire site is restored with just a couple of clicks. Now, for those of you that are worried about cybersecurity and encryption, worry not. Rewind backups for Jira and rewind backups for Confluence is fully SOC 2 compliant, and all your data is encrypted end to end. In fact, if you need more information on how Rewind is protecting your data, I recommend you check out Rewind's Trust Center on their main website at rewind.com/trust, and you will be able to see how they're protecting your data, how they handle privacy, and everything else that they have available with respect to how they're making sure that all your data is always taken care of. Now, one important thing that I want to note, that when you're on server, if you delete something, you can always restore it. And when you move to the cloud, the restoration capabilities is not there. In fact, you would think that because the cloud is always being backed up by Atlassian, you can just call up Atlassian and have them restore, but that's not the case. You will need a solution like Rewind Backups for Jira if you want to be able to restore issues, because the out-of-the-box solutions that Atlassian provides are very, very lackluster, and restoration is very, very painful. And so I highly encourage you that if you are accustomed to being able to restore your data in Jira Server or Confluence Server, then you definitely want to check out something like Rewind Backups for Jira or Rewind Backups for Confluence, because that's going to be the only way that you can safely restore things without creating all this chaos. Because again, the out-of-the-box solution is not going to work for you. And unfortunately, you cannot call Atlassian. They do not have copies of your data, and so they can't restore things for you. So you're going to have to be very proactive. It's a very, very big change from being on server, because on server, you're accustomed to having that restoration and backup ability on demand whenever you want. But in the cloud, this is going to be one of the ways that you want to go forth. And the reason that this is because Atlassian believes in a shared responsibility model. And that means that both you and Atlassian are responsible for backing up your data. Now, as I mentioned, Atlassian does have a backup solution built in, but it is really, really lackluster. You can't schedule it. And when you do the backup, it's basically out of date, because the cloud is not a service that you can just turn off. So your team's always going to be in the tool. So you need something like Rewind Backups for Jira or Confluence to be able to safely back up your data on demand or on a schedule, and be able to on demand restore either little pieces that are missing or bring back an entire site. And luckily for you, Rewind Backups for Jira and Rewind Backups for Confluence are here to save the day. With Rewind, when somebody accidentally deletes something, you are able to very easily go back into your Rewind backup and bring it back. And I'm going to show you a quick demo before we conclude this video. Okay, so I'm going to do something pretty drastic. I'm going to go into my Jira and I'm going to actually delete an entire project. So I'm going to go and pick this D's demo, and I'm going to completely delete it. Once I'm here, I just simply find the project that I want. I'm going to click on these ellipses, move to trash. Once it's in the trash, I'm going to click on the trash, and then I'm going to permanently delete it from here. In the cloud, when I do this, and you don't have a backup solution, that project is gone forever. Nothing can bring it back unless if you have a backup using the out-of-the-box backup solution. But to bring it back means that you're going to have to make a sacrifice. You're going to have to bring Jira back to a time that was when that project existed. And depending on the delta, depending on the number of days that have elapsed, you're going to lose very, very important production data. This is not a good solution. So instead, you want to leverage the fact that you have Rewind Backups for Jira, because watch how easy it is for me to bring this project back from the dead. Over on the Rewind side, all I need to do is go find my project. Here's D's demo. And I'm going to move my mouse over here to the right, and you can see that I have a restore button. And so I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to pick a date. So I'm just going to go back a day because I know I had it yesterday. And then I'm going to click on restore. This is going to give me a little warning, and I'm going to say, yes, I want to restore. And then we're going to watch a little bit of paint dry. If you want to check the status of your backup, all you got to do is click on your button up here and then click on audit log. You will see that I kicked off a restore and the system has completed the restoration. So now all I need to do is go back into Jira, refresh my page here for my projects. And sure enough, here's D's demo. I'm going to click into it, and everything that was in there is back where it was. So you can see, here's all my issues in my backlog. And that's pretty much it. That's how easy it is to restore. So again, if you're moving to the cloud, you are gonna need something like this, because what you are used to having in server is gonna basically disappear the moment you come to the cloud. So I highly recommend you check out a backup and restoration solution like Rewind Backups for Jira and Rewind Backups for Confluence. They're going to be your saving grace when it comes to having some control over your backup restorations. And something we didn't mention, but you also have at least the ability to download your backup data. So now you also have a copy and you can always be ensured that you have your data at all times. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out the link down below so you can start your free 30-day trial. There's a unique link that you're going to want to use. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.